Hello, my name's Jonathan from Jonathan Hull & Son Bespoke Motorcycles Limited. I'm going to show you around my workshop today. I build custom motorcycles, specifically what they call new wave cafe racers. The term cafe racer comes from the 1960s in England, where young men and women would buy stock motorcycles and then strip them back, trying to make them quicker and more nimble and agile, and they would relieve the bike of anything that got in the way of that. So similar to my philosophy, if it doesn't make the bike go faster or stop quicker, then it's gone. I try to strip the bikes back to the most basic components, but with the new wave we tend to add a more technological advancement. So we replace like the halogen bulbs for full LED systems. We use lithium-ion batteries. We use state-of-the-art components. So we bring that traditional cafe racer ethos into the modern day. So about 5 years ago, I went to my local barber's, and my barber Nick was talking to me while I was there, and he mentioned that he wanted to buy a motorcycle and strip it back and turn it into a cafe racer. I had no idea at the time what a cafe racer was, but I was intrigued. So typical me, I went home and I started looking at them on the internet and doing some research, and I found myself being really fascinated by these motorbikes. We rescued a CG125 from a scrap heap that was destined to be crushed, and got it home. And the story starts there. Quite naively, I thought it was just going to be a case of changing a few parts and buying some custom aftermarket parts off eBay, but I fast realised it was going to be a lot more complicated than that. But what actually happened was, when I put the pictures of the finished bikes up, some of the big influencer sites took it on, and all of a sudden this little bike started getting a lot of attention. I think from there I realised actually I could be quite good at this, and now 5 years on, I've got a business and I'm doing it full time. Okay, so I can source donor bikes from various different places. I'm obviously scouring eBay all the time to find donor vehicles. I use a very specific donor vehicle for the 125s that I produce the most of. They are 2004 to 2008 CG125s. They're getting a bit harder to get. I don't really need them in great condition, so I don't need a rideable, roadworthy bike, because a lot of it gets recycled or it goes in the skip. I'm lucky that the bikes that I build are very fashionable at the minute. They're a very sought after style of motorcycle. So I meet people at shows. I've been lucky enough to have a bike this year at the Bike Shed show in London, and I also exhibit bikes down at the Malay Mile as well, and these are sort of big popular companies that put on these shows through my website and through Instagram as well, and perhaps 90% of my business comes through Instagram. So it is possible to build a motorcycle with very limited tooling, as I did with my first build, but as you get more into it, as you become more professional, you need to streamline your operation. You need to make things quicker and easier and better quality. But at the moment I've got everything I need. That ranges from small hand tools, files and shaping tools. I've got some big steel cutting chop saws. I've got grinders and polishers. I also have the 10-ton hydraulic press that is vital for what I do at the minute, but it perhaps only comes out once in the build. And then perhaps on the bigger side, I have this. This is my Drummond Brothers lathe. This was made in 1921 in the UK. It's an English-made lathe, and it still functions. I've had to do some modification. I've had to build a frame for it, put a new motor on it, and a regulator, modernise it. But it still operates really well today, and it still has precision as well. Short term, I'm looking to move into a bigger premises. I'm currently operating from my residential address, and I have a nice workshop, and it's the size that's usable, but I need more space in order to expand. I'd like to have 3 ramps, so I can have 3 builds on the go at once, rather than just constantly taking one off and putting one on. Long term, I'd like to move into a premises that's big enough to hold events. even have a coffee shop and those sort of things, and expand my clothing line. Thank you for coming to visit me in my workshop today. If you'd like to see a more in-depth video about the bikes I create, then please feel free to click the link in the description.